So in 2023, I made the decision to be fully nomadic for an entire year. That means living and traveling the world out of a suitcase from North America to South America to Europe. And I want to share with you today some of the key things that I learned to inspire you to reach for your dreams and keep going for it, even if it feels like it's a little bit impossible. So if you're new here, my name is Zoey. I am a certified professional life coach and digital course creator. I've been a digital entrepreneur for the last 9 years. And in that time, I've lived in Italy, I've lived in Toronto, I've lived in Bali, Indonesia. And as you're about to hear, I've also set off traveling the world. So this was a huge life move for me to make, but it was possible because I work for myself. It was possible because I put in the time over time to create a powerful foundation in my own digital business. This is something that I help people with every single day. If you're curious, you can check out the Digital Nomad Academy. This is my #1 course to help people create and live a life by their design. So I'll leave that link down below. But I'm here today to share with you some of the most special learnings that came from living a year fully nomadic from my suitcase. Traditionally, I've traveled, but I've always had a home base, whether that was in Italy and then traveling around Europe, or that was in Bali and traveling around that side of the world. I've always had a home base. But in 2023, I really let myself become untethered and just allowed myself to see what would happen. I had only 3 places that I intended to go to, and the rest of it, I let the universe kind of conspire, my intuition lead the way, and I just let my heart lead me towards the next destination. So the first lesson that I want to share with you today is the understanding when a chapter is coming to an end. I separate my life into chapters, like that's just the way that I think about them in my mind, from different places that I've lived, but perhaps you can recognize different chapters in your own life, whether that was specific ages or specific jobs that you've had, or even places that you've lived yourself. And there was a point in time where I thought I would live in Italy forever. Like Italy is one of the loves of my life, and I thought that I would live in Italy forever. And the same thing I could say about Bali, Indonesia. I thought that that could potentially be it. But something has come up in every single one of my life chapters. It's almost like this phase of a lot of discomfort where things that would normally flow quite easily and effortlessly sort of come to a bit of stagnancy, or it's not working out. Like for example, in Bali, Mama Bali definitely has an energy to her. Those of you who've been there, let me know. You can kind of sense when the island is like, okay, my child, it is time to go off on another adventure. And that's what happened to me. Like for example, my villa flooded, et cetera, et cetera. And I was also coming to the end of my visa that I had for Indonesia. So I was prompted with a decision in that regard, but I just knew and felt like there's a lot of discomfort around me. If I can zoom out and start to ask myself questions like, when and if have I ever felt this way before? It was always before a big move was about to happen. So I share that with you just to highlight for you any place and time in your life when maybe you felt like that, or if you're feeling like that right now. Just trust and know that something greater than you could ever imagine is probably going to come into clarity. And for me at that point in time in Bali, what was coming to clarity was a greater desire on my heart of going to the places I've always wanted to go to, of really living an entire year for Zoe, visiting all the places that I wanted to go to and just following my heart. I had a few other key intentions before I ventured out into this year. Those intentions were to really feel more deeply and closely connected to myself than ever before, travel to places that I felt the call to, experience new cultures, and have more life experience. And there was also a desire on my heart that was emerging that was to be in a romantic relationship. So this, of course, was something I wanted to have in the past, but I can honestly say that it wasn't a kind of key priority desire on my heart. It was something that would be really cool. I can't wait for that when that happens in my life. You know, I can be a bit of a romantic at times. So there were moments when I would work on manifesting that. But what I can say about the Bali chapter coming to an end was that with the discomfort, a new desire started to arise of I've got to actually just go out there and travel the world because I'm ready to meet my person. I just feel like I'm being pulled I'm being pulled to travel the world. Something is happening that's a little bit beyond me, and it's happening from my heart space. And so I honored that desire. I took this leap of faith to travel the world, venture into the unknown, even though some might say, and some did say, in fact, that it was counterintuitive or productive to what results I was trying to create in my life. For example, a relationship. How might someone be able to build a romantic partnership with someone? First of all, they've got to meet them. And if you're traveling everywhere, like you could meet someone, but would you meet them and be able to spend time with them and know that that would be something that could develop positively? But I knew in my inner knower, my intuition, if you will, I just knew that if I were to venture off and really live a life for myself to the fullest this year, that of course, if I was meant to meet someone, that I would just wind up there. I would almost just keep traveling until I sort of landed in that place because it was an intention of mine. And whenever I've been honest and truthful about what my desires are and followed through with those intentions, they've always been made manifest. So I just knew. Let's say that. I just knew. So the next lesson is that your desires are divine. If you can get your belief systems to back the desires that are on your heart, like for example, for me, I believe the desires in my heart are planted there by God and I am meant to walk them out. So I believe that the desires on my heart are meant for me. I heard a quote the other day that kind of aligns with it. It is, "What I desire, I deserve." That's a very powerful affirmation, because if you can energetically back yourself, that the things that become so clear to you that you feel to the core of your being, like let's say if it's a romantic relationship is meant for you in your lifetime, or that dream job, or for you to travel the world, or for you to become your own boss one day. If you have that inner knowing in your heart, that desire that feels very present to you, trust it. Start to believe in yourself. Start to practice thoughts and feelings that align with you getting everything that you desire in your life. Because why not? You can either walk around in your life thinking like, oh, I hope those things happen for me. Or you can go there, have that sparkle in your eyes that everything is happening for me. And the things that I desire, they're meant for me. They're happening. So trust yourself in that. What I want to say again is I'm planting the seed that your desires are meant for you to walk out. You wouldn't have that dream of starting a business if you didn't have what it takes inside of you to fulfill it. Same with traveling the world or these different places that you might feel called to go to. There are reasons why, and you are fully capable, and that's why you feel so strongly and so passionately about them. And I don't know about you guys, but I have never been able to quiet a desire on my heart. I've never been able to quiet a dream until it becomes made manifest. It is fully meant to be made manifest. So this is me just planting seeds for you that it's meant to happen for you. And the next lesson that I learned that I want to share with you was how to open my heart even greater. There were a lot of situations and scenarios that happened around traveling, which opened my heart, which ultimately led me to where I presently am in regards to my intention of having a beautiful, loving relationship. But I opened my heart to the entire world. I didn't just open my heart for a relationship. I'm talking about really learning to live life from a place of love versus fear. We can either be coming from love in any decision in any moment, or we can be coming from fear. Love can look like compassion, joy, happiness. Fear can look like anxiety, bitterness, cynicism. And for me, what I learned looking out onto the forecast of the year, right? Knowing that I was going to live life by my intuition, I was going to go travel alone to all these different countries. I could have looked from a lens of fear. I recognized that there was two sides. I could have definitely looked at the unknown and felt like the unknown is scary. The unknown is full of fears. The unknown is full of worries. Or I could look to the future and see the unknown as a place of grand opportunity, feeding myself stories like it's going to be better than you could ever imagine. Like you've totally got what it takes. So you watching or listening can probably resonate with this as well. You don't have to be going out there on a grand adventure to travel the world. But when it comes to looking at the future, do you feel like you primarily feel excited from a space of love and joy and possibility for yourself? Or do you look at the future from a lens of fear, fearing what might happen, worrying about certain outcomes, or even feeling bitter or cynical, trusting that it's just not going to work out? We always have the opportunity opportunity of conscious choice. When we are consciously choosing to feel good about what's to come for us, we feel incredible. We feel free, because as human beings, whenever we exercise conscious choice, we feel free. But if we are falling into autopilot aspects of our mind, which is doubting or still operating on past fears and anxieties, we're actually robbing ourselves from our hearts being open. Our hearts are in a state of being closed. And I'm telling you, it feels so good when your heart is open. It might not feel comfortable opening that heart, right? Because we might have to do some healing work. We might have to do some coaching or some therapy around it, or just sit with uncomfortable emotions. But once we get that heart open and we realize how beautiful life is, there's no going back. So in being able to live my life with a heart wide open that continued to open throughout the year, just seeing the kindness of others, seeing the beautiful synchronicities of the universe, seeing how beautiful nature is, seeing how beautiful this entire world is. Like I said, I can't go back. That heart is open to life now, to an entirely new way. Of course, travel has always opened my heart personally, but living a whole year by my intuition and following that flow allowed my heart to just burst right open. So that was a key lesson that I want to share with you all, because at any moment in time, if you feel like you're closed, if you feel like you operate in more of a state of fear, just practice setting an intention. Like, I am ready to live my life from a state of open-heartedness, from a state of love, and just watch how things shift around you, and watch how your feelings, your internal chemistry starts to change. And the next lesson I want to share with you is the importance of the morning routine. This is something I knew before that, but it got integrated even further traveling, as you can probably guess why. Traveling place to place, being in different environments, not having the same surroundings all the time, the morning routine was the one thing that kept me really grounded in myself. It gave me those quiet moments of connection where I could really tune in and see how I was doing and what maybe needed adjusting in my everyday life. The morning routine for me is something that has stood the test of time. I know it's one of those classic self-improvement tips, but if you can really refine your morning routine to be something that supports you feeling grounded in yourself and fulfilled in yourself and almost reset in your energetic body before you start the day, you will notice significant changes in your life overall. And for me, it was such a foundation in living each day to the fullest, no matter where I was. And the next lesson that I want to share with you was that sometimes having no plan is the best plan. I would definitely say I'm somebody who lives my life more adventurously, more spontaneously. Like, I love playfulness. I love spontaneity. I love just the adventures of life and having adventures in every single day. So obviously I thrived in and do thrive in a nomadic type lifestyle. But what I mean by not having a plan was more so like not knowing where I was going to go until my intuition or that inspiration came through and led me. So that was my rule for myself. I had 3 destinations that I needed to go to, but other than that, I was led solely by my intuition. So I'll give you an example. I was in Tulum and I was due to check out of my Airbnb in just a few days. I didn't even know if I was going to stay in Mexico. So I was feeling all the discomforts because I am somebody who loves to be organized. I love to have structure, especially when it comes to shelter and transportation. So a few days before I was due to be out of my Airbnb, I realized I want to stay here. And I ended up easily finding another Airbnb in the same condo building. So it was a super swift and easy move. Very convenient. I would say the universe lined everything up with ease. But what I had to move through first was the discomfort of not knowing, of letting go of all of the parts of me that were so attached always to having a plan, of having things look a certain way. I want to share with you that throughout the year, I was consistently brought back to this type of a lesson where it didn't go as planned or my plans had to change, but not having a plan was the best plan. And it showed a pathway of ease. It even showed the pathway of better than I could ever imagine. As in, I was in Arizona for September, and then I was heading down to Costa Rica for most of October. I had about 5 days in between. And my present partner, who I'd known from the past, actually sent me a message and invited me to come through Austin. I'd never been through Austin before, but as you guys probably know, know, it's a bit of a hot spot these days. So I decided to spend a few days in Austin with him, and we ended up having the best time. This was not in my plans, but it was better than I could have ever planned or imagined. I had so much fun. Obviously, it was so amazing reconnecting with him, and it led to us being in a beautiful, healthy, fulfilling relationship together. It really showed me that not having a plan is the best plan, or not having a plan is when some of the most amazing opportunities present themselves, because you really see divine intervention at work. You really see how, if I don't really feel called to book something right now, or I don't have clarity on that, it's okay. We can all relate to going through seasons in time where we don't feel like our vision is as clear as it once was. Trust that process, because what I've learned is when you do not have the plan and you just hold space, even though it's super uncomfortable at times, some of the greatest things will either come in as opportunities or crystal clear clarity will come through, and you'll be amazed at what you learn about yourself or life. And the final lesson I learned that I want to share with you all is that home is inside of yourself. Home is in the comfort of your own heart. It is not a physical place. It is not other people. It is you. It is all within you. And I'd heard this type of wisdom before in the past. I'm sure I read it in a book or something like that. But to truly live a year nomadically, it was integrated on such a deep level that no matter what, I've got me. And that is my home. My heart, my being, my own energy, that is my home. And I will continue to live my life to the fullest to create such a beautiful home for myself. And what's interesting is that all the different places that I've lived, even Canada, my own home country, let's say, I never quite felt at home. I always felt like a little bit of an outsider to some extent. Even living in Italy or living in Indonesia, I knew that I was an outsider because I wasn't really born there in that sense. But in finding home in myself, I've felt more like a citizen of the universe. So in conclusion, all of my intentions and more came to fruition. I lived the most abundant year of my life, and I presently find myself in the relationship of my dreams, one of my biggest desires that I've had on my heart yet. And what's incredibly exciting right now is that my partner and I have actually decided to set out and do 2025 fully nomadic together. And this, like I said, is a dream come true for me, you guys. I got super comfortable naturally traveling the world and living in different places. I got really close to my own heart and have loved my own company. But one thing that I remember is at different points in time, whether it would be going out for dinner by myself in Italy, which I would often do, or being at a cafe in Bali, is I would have these little moments of intent where I would recognize that I'm so grateful to be here in my own company right now, but I can't wait to travel the world with my person. I can't wait to see the world with my significant other. And now this is happening for me. And I feel so incredibly grateful for it, and so incredibly grateful for little Zoe from the past who is always setting those intentions. So wherever you find yourself today, one, I hope this video inspired you. I hope it encouraged you to reach for your dreams and goals. But secondly, those intentions that you set, those micro intentions day to day, they will be made manifest. Trust the process. Know that if it's on your heart, it's there for a reason, and you are fully capable of having everything your heart desires. Remember, what I desire, I deserve. Anyways, have a beautiful rest of your day, guys. If you're interested in coaching, you can always reach out to me via my website, and I'll link the Digital Nomad Academy down below for you. I've loved chatting with you today, as always, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.